Right, quick video. Carburettor's off the Renault 11. As you can see, clearer now. I've got it off. This is the first barrel opening, which is sticky, which obviously the spring would pull back, but the second one isn't doing a single thing. So we need to rectify what's going on with that. Okay. Right, we're going to remove this screw holding the base plate on. This should separate from here. And there's a gasket between the two, which is in a bit of a state, as you can see. Hopefully my goodie collection will find something to sort that out. It's not going to be a lot of good anymore, is it? Right. Biggest problem is these screws down in here. We've got to take the spindle out that way, but unless you can undo these screws. So I've got some magic stuff which might work. This is called screw grab, which if you've got screws that don't undo, it's pretty useful. Anyway, I don't want to take that bit off. Hopefully you squeeze a little bit in the slot. It's like grit in the slot, because if you don't do this, when you go down and do the screws, it rounds off. No idea whether it's going to work. Right, gonna have to put the camera down for a minute, so we'll pull. Right, well, I've had to turn the carburettor around to get better access. I've unhooked this linkage from the first to the second carburettor by just slackening this nut and pulling it clear. But you can see now that this is actually opening, but it's ridiculously stiff. I've got this screw out, which was helpful. This one didn't want to come out, so I've ground the back of it off, because there's a bit that sticks out that's apparently burred over at the factory. Right, but I haven't got very much hope of doing this one now. Not impressed. Right, time for thinking cap. Well, unbelievably, I've managed to tap that round with a little punch on the thing, and the screw's actually going round, but I've only got one hand here, so I can't demonstrate it. Unbelievably, that screw's now come out. Right, we're going to turn this round this way, and we're going to pull this out. The disc comes out like that. Put that over there, the goodie pole. Right, next we should be able to get hold of a pair of grips. Grab hold of this. No, that won't work. Smaller pliers maybe. Them ones. Right, and then here we go. Well, you get the idea anyway. Need two hands. Eventually it came out. Right, you can see where I've had to clean. That needs cleaning up, which I'll do in a minute. Right, the problem is the base of the carburettor distorts slightly. I've done loads of these before. All I normally do is get a punch and knock this blanking plug out this end very carefully, not to drop this little blanking plug that comes out this end, like so. Okay, that sits there. and there's a plastic bush in here which we don't need to worry about too much. But then we go and find an 8mm drill in my drill box, which could be easier said than done. I won't waste video on this. I'm sure somebody's going to say you shouldn't be doing this, but unless you've got a brand new carburettor sitting there, and this definitely works. This is an 8mm drill, which you just go, basically you're not drilling it, you're just realigning the two holes into a straight line again. Okay, so now this shaft, which I've polished up a bit, there's a little burr there I forgot to clean off, hadn't I? Oh dear, better stop and do that. Right, next, another bit you won't like, fine grinding paste. Okay, and in here, okay, back in the hole, and screwdriver, and lo and behold, nice and free. Look at that, lovely. Look at that, see? Snug as anything. Right, shot of carburettor cleaner, clean all the swarf up. Right, and lo and behold, look at that, perfect. Right. Cap, which we can put back on if I can pick it up. Impossible, these stupid gloves that the carburettor cleaner's dissolved it now. Right, that'll go back in. That pushes in. The hole in the end. Right, and now rehook this piece of carburettor back into this bit. Okay. Tighten this nut up. And if we're lucky, we've got this working. Right, the biggest problem we got now is that one is free and opens and shuts perfectly, as you can see, but the primary barrel, because I've tightened that nut up a bit much, it's also sticking. In extreme cases I have had to do these ones as well, but the trick is not to over tighten the nut on this one, because it pulls it all across. Obviously the proper throttle return spring will pull that back. Okay, hopefully we'll find another little screw to put the butt flies in tomorrow, it can go back together.